Okay, it should be recording now. All right, well, thank you all so much for stopping by today. So my name is Mr. Gonzalez. I'm going to be your instructor for Government 2306 here at Blinn College. I do want to also mention really quickly, in case you all are not aware of this, do keep in mind that this is an 8-week accelerated course. So as I was explaining in the intro announcement, I was explaining that because these classes are, that they're accelerated, right? It's half the time of a traditional semester. It is going to have to be more fast paced. We're going to have to cover 2 chapters a week, but in an online class, that shouldn't be too big of a concern. Um, if it's an in-person, that's a little bit more difficult. But for an online class, that's not really, it's definitely something we can do. But just keep that in mind that you all have to, there's going to be 2 chapters per week that you'll have to cover. I also wanted to mention that for the first assignment due dates for the first couple of chapters, I didn't want to have anything due this Sunday because we're starting in the middle of a week. So I didn't think it would be fair for me to assign some, to complete some chapter assignments when we haven't even been a full week in class. Um, so I wanted to kind of give you all this week to get the book and to start reading through the chapters. And of course, you're more than welcome to get started already if y'all want to, because as you'll see right now, when I show you all on eCampus, you'll see that pretty much everything is already open. So all the chapters are open. All the assignments are there. Now, I do have to do a little bit of, there's a little bit more cleaning up I have to do within the modules because, and the reason for this is because we just got a new edition of the Governing Texas book. It just came out over the summer. So there's a few more resources that I added, and I need to still kind of, it's all there, but I just need to rearrange it a little bit better. So I'll be doing that either this weekend or this coming week. It's because I also have other colleges and universities that are starting up. They're going to start up on this week. So I'm doing the same things I have to do with them. I have to set everything up and do the syllabus and all that stuff. So that's also taking some time. But yes, just in case you all didn't know, I do teach at other institutions. Here at Blinn, I'm a adjunct faculty member, which kind of means that you're part-time. I'm full-time at another institution, and then there's other institutions that I also do adjuncting for. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to still give you all the time and the support that you all definitely expect from you all's instructors and professors here at Blinn College. So so don't worry, I'll definitely will still be able to assist you all in what is expected of us. So don't worry about that at all. So, but with that being said, what I'm going to do is let me go ahead and share the screen really quickly. I'm going to let me go ahead and share, go to the syllabus really quickly so that way we can look at that. And I know that you all have probably already looked at the syllabus already. Let me also show you where to find it. Let me share my screen really quickly. So, okay, so let's see. So you should be able to see my screen. So I'm over here in the syllabus and course materials. So it should be the first link that you click on. So you click on it there, and then it should take you, it should pop up here. You can also find it on your concourse, but this is an easier way to find it here. So what I wanted to do really quickly was I just wanted to just go over kind of the key points of the syllabus. All the stuff like student expectations and all that. I mean, you all are already college students, and I'm sure you all have taken college classes before, or if you haven't, if this is your first one, then I'm sure you all are taking other classes at the same time, so you'll definitely get to learn how those expectations are. Just be a good student, be respectful, turn everything on time, and reach out to me if you all have any issues when it comes to anything in our class. Don't cheat, don't plagiarize, all that, that stuff that's expected of you all as students. Just make sure that you adhere to that in our class. So we're not going to spend too much time going over that because, again, you all are young adults. You all know how to conduct yourselves in a college class. What I did want to, of course, talk to you all about is really quickly, we can go over the contact information. Email is the best way to get a hold of me. I know some of y'all have already been doing that. So again, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me. I will try to respond as quickly as possible. But just note that if, let's say, you email me on the weekend, maybe I might not get to it till Monday because I usually am still working on the weekends when it comes to like grading and uploading things and moving things around in the course shell. But also keep in mind that I'm also studying. I just got admitted to a doctorate in government. I'm going to start that next year, but I'm also doing some other classes with educational administration in the meantime. So So I am taking some classes this semester. So just keep that in mind that on the weekends, that's usually that's usually when I will have time to work on my own classes, but that doesn't mean that I still won't check in and see how things are going. So if you email me on the weekend, just know that I might not get to it till Monday, but I could still, I might still be able to respond. So again, I mean, you all can read through the outcomes in terms of, what we're going to be covering here within Texas government. I mean, just explain the origin and development of the Texas Constitution, describe state and local political systems and the relationship with the federal government. There's going to be a lot of comparing and contrasting between the Texas government and the federal government, because since Texas is one of the 50 states, part of the United States, and of course the federal government is the government of the United States, we're going to take a look at how there is a lot of interaction between Texas and the federal government, and those intergovernmental relations are extremely important when it comes to how Texas integrates within the federal government, or I guess maybe we could say doesn't integrate. We'll talk about some of these issues, especially like with border security. That's a big issue that Texas and the federal government do not see eye to eye on, so we'll definitely have some time to talk about that. I'll be uploading some recent articles that just came out, like what's been going on with the Rio Grande with the buoy system there, so which I'm actually very familiar with the border region, because that's where I'm at. I am at the border region down in the valley, so I'm pretty familiar with this topic here. But so that'll be one thing we'll talk about. Describe the separation of powers and checks and balances in both theory and practice in Texas. We're going to talk about how, and going back to the Constitution also really quickly, we're also going to take a look at how Texas's Constitution differs from the federal Constitution. It's longer, it's more wordy, but we'll talk about that when we get to the second chapter here. And we'll also talk about how Texas also has pretty much an almost identical system of separation of powers and checks and balances within Texas, right? We still have the 3 branches of government within Texas. We have a legislative, executive, and judicial branch. They pretty much interact almost the same way, but there are some differences, such as, in the judicial system in Texas, judges are elected rather than appointed at the federal level. So there are some differences, which we'll talk about that here as well in our class. Demonstrate knowledge of the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Like we just mentioned here, they pretty much do the same responsibilities that we see at the federal level. They just have a different way of going about it with some of those important different details here. Evaluate the role of public opinion interest groups and political parties in Texas. So again, going back to kind of what we talk about in federal government, right? We still have the same major political parties in Texas that we do at the national level, Republicans and Democrats. We've also got interest groups here that cater more towards state issues. We'll talk about some of those, as well as the importance of public opinion within a somewhat conservative state like Texas. So we'll take a look at, that there's some good polling data that I'll have for you all available for you all to look at some of this. The Texas Politics Project is one of the resources that I like to use in our class. They do a lot of polling when it comes to how Texans view any type of issue, right? When it comes to like the economy or immigration, the border, the gun issue, the Texas Politics Project does a good job of polling Texans about how they feel about these issues. Analyze state and local election processes, right? So we're going to take a look at how elections operate in Texas and how local governments have a very important role within these elections in Texas. We're going to talk about how that the counties in Texas pretty much, they administer elections throughout the entire state, and then they have to report it to the Secretary of State's office. We'll talk about that later on when we get there. Identify the rights and responsibilities of citizens, and analyze issues, policies, and the political culture of Texas. So we're going to take a look at what is the overall political culture of Texas? How do Texans view government? How do they view political issues? How do they view the people in government? Who do they support, not support, and why? And we'll take a look at some of these other issues that are affecting the state, such as property tax reform. I know the legislature, that they were meeting this past year, and Governor Abbott was able to get some property tax reform signed. So we'll talk about that, because that's been a big issue in Texas as Texas becomes a little, more expensive, especially like in the Austin area. But that's also happening in other parts of the state. The DFW area has gotten more expensive. Down here in the valley, it's also gotten more expensive. So we'll talk about some of those reforms that Governor Abbott and the Texas legislature were responsible for passing here. So that's just in a nutshell in terms of what we're going to be covering here. Let's see. So governing Texas, this of course is the and as you can see here, it's the 6th edition. So this is the book that we're going to be using here. I think I don't know why it didn't load, but I did include the picture, but it's the 6th edition. It's the 6th one. This is the ISBN number, but I think a lot of you all already have access to it because you all did the the Buck Books program. So, and as I was, and I also wanted to mention that, you know, I also wanted to reach out to everyone to make sure, and I think I posted an announcement on this, that if you all are still having trouble accessing your ebook or whatever book you're, you know, whatever book you purchased, please let me know, so that way we can get it squared away, because you all should have access, right? Because the way the Buck Books program works is that they already give you access to the textbook. It's added to your, you know, to your overall tuition and fees. So you should have access to it already. And of course, I also had to go in there and create the, you know, set up the system so that you all should, you know, be able to access it. So I believe everyone should have access to it, because you know, the first day of school, if let's say it wasn't working, I would have probably gotten like 10 or 20 emails, like from students saying, hey, like, sir, like, I can't access my ebook. The ebook doesn't work. But I didn't get any emails on Wednesday when, you know, when the semester started, and I still haven't really gotten any emails. So I'm assuming that it works, since no one's contacted me on here. And then this gives you more instructions on how to access it. Okay, let's go with the course requirements. So I think this is the most important this is the most important thing that everyone likes to look at whenever we, you know, whenever we get a new class. I know I did that with my own classes this semester. Like the first thing I scrolled to look was, okay, what do I have to do? How am I going to be graded? How many assignments? What assignments are there? What's the grade weights and things like that. So that's what we're going to go over here within the grade weights here, right? So let's kind of let me let's see, where is the okay, so anyway, so I thought there was like a grade breakdown here, but it's already here. Let me just explain to you really quick. So basically it's 4 exams that equals to 40%, so 10% each. 20% is going to be for discussions, 10% is going to be for quizzes, 10% is going to be for assignments, and then there's also the signature assignment final project, right? So let me talk about the discussions really quickly, because I know that's something that I'm going to talk about. The discussions and the final project, because that's one that a lot of people have a lot of questions about. So the discussions, and let me also mention that the introductory discussion and the syllabus acknowledgement, that's going to count towards your discussion grades, and I've already graded, I think, everyone who's turned them in. I think there were some more people that turned them in today. It's not due till Sunday, but if you haven't worked on it, please work on it, because that way I'm going to use that to take attendance for the first week. Because even though it's an online class, we still take attendance, especially for financial aid purposes. We have to do the roster verifications where we ensure that the students are actually doing work in an online class, because that is how Blinn College and the Department of Education, that is how they determine if someone is actually attending an online class, is they've actually done the work in there. So that's why I wanted to have an assignment ready for you all, so that you all could complete it and then demonstrate that you all have actually you are in the class. And logging in is not enough. You actually have to do assignments here in order to be counted as attending for the class. But with that being said, the way the discussions work is what I asked for you all to do in the discussions, and in the discussions, it should have the same similar prompt, right? Where you have to do at least 3 total posts per discussion, right? So you know, so the way it works is okay, and you know what? Let me see if I can go to the let me stop the share really quickly, because I want to yeah, let me hold on. Let me stop the share really quickly, because let me see, how do I do this? Okay, stop share. Let me stop the share really quickly, because I want to show you all the discussions, and I guess kind of like the samples here. So let me go ahead and duplicate the tab in here. Let me do this here. So let me do this here really quickly. So hold on. Okay, so let me go to the let's see. Hold on. Let me go to content. Let me go to the discussions here. Okay. No, there's another way to get to it. Hold on. Okay, so let me scroll over here, and then let me okay. Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and share the screen. All right. Okay, so this is the first unit discussion, and this is not going to be due until after Labor Day, right? So it should be due not this coming week, but next week. So the question asks, do you think that Texas's political culture is traditionalistic, individualistic, as the textbook implies? And if so, can you give examples of political events to point to that conclusion? All right, so every unit that we're going to be covering in our class, and there's 4 units, is going to have a unit discussion. So you're going to have to do 4 unit discussions within our entire class. Now, within the unit discussions, you're going to have these questions, right? So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to answer the question and then respond to two of their classmates, right? So within the unit discussion, the first thing you're going to do, of course, is to answer the question, right? So so the book obviously, of course, talks about traditional individualistic political culture in Texas, which you all are going to be reading about in chapter 1. Basically, it talks about, it's one of the main reasons why Texas tends to be conservative, right? Because one of the hallmarks of conservatism is this idea of individuality, that people need to work for themselves, that they need to try to move up in life, through their hard work. And if they're not able to move up, then it's because they weren't they weren't able to be successful enough. So, and again, there's different viewpoints on this, right? Some people take more of a moralistic viewpoint where they might feel like society has a role in determining whether someone is successful or not. But for our discussion here in the Unit 1 discussion, just keep in mind that that what the book is saying is that Texas tends to be traditionalistic, individualistic. Now, of course, it's asking you if you agree with this, right? So, so think about this. Think about what you've read in the readings. Also, think about some things that you might have seen personally, or maybe some news stories, political events, like it's talking about here. Because let me also mention to you all that what I'm looking for in these discussions is I'm looking for you all to give examples. Okay, that is what I'm looking for in terms of how you're going to do well in the discussions. Is that, are you giving examples? Are you giving examples from the readings? Are you giving examples from news articles that you've seen, news events? And I'm not necessarily asking for you all to like cite exactly what you find in the readings or any of these news articles, but I want for you all to mention examples of them, right? So the whole point of these discussions is to determine whether you all actually read the chapters and understand the chapters, right? So this is a check that I'm doing to make sure that you all are able to understand this information that you're learning about in the chapters. So what you're going to do is the first post you're going to make has to be at least 200 words, and it has to be at least 5 sentences, right? And then for the other two responses to your classmates, they have to be at least 100 words and also 5 sentences, right? So make sure that you meet that word requirement, because Brightspace does give you a word count in terms of how many words you've put in there. So make sure that you do that, right? Because I do check that, right? So if, let's say, you don't meet the 200 word requirement or the 100 word requirement for the responses, then that's going to cost you, right? Because you didn't meet those requirements. So make sure that you do that you do adhere to these requirements. And then it talks about how when responding to classmates, don't put things like, I really like, you did a good job explaining. I need for you all to continue the conversation, right? I need for you all to give either extra examples, give your own examples, because that's the whole point of the responses, right? To keep the conversation going, not just be like, not just complimenting each other, but add something to the discussion. So if, let's say, we're talking about Texas being a individualistic, traditionalistic, I'm sorry, I got those two mixed up, well, reversed, but traditionalistic, individualistic political culture. If, let's say, someone brings up, some of the legislation that was recently passed with the Texas legislature, then maybe you could bring up something else that was also passed, right? Maybe you can bring up different things, right? So that's a way to keep the conversation going while still, while adding to the discussion as well, right? So just keep that in mind. That's what I'm looking for in terms of, I'm very strict about the word requirement, the sentence requirements, and I'm also explaining to you all how to do these discussions, right? So if any of you all ever need help with these discussions, please reach out to me. I can definitely meet with you all and we can go over some of these, because I do want for you all to be as successful as possible. And I'm trying to be as straightforward as possible in terms of how I grade these. I also use a rubric to grade the discussion. So, and you can see the feedback that I'll leave. Let's say maybe you meet the 100-word requirement, but you're not really giving too many examples or any, then your grade might suffer because you weren't specific enough with the example. So that's so I wanted to give you all a heads up and a view in terms of what I look for. So okay, so let me stop the share again and let me go back to the syllabus here, and then we'll continue, because I do also want to talk about the signature assignment really quickly. This is not a hard assignment. Oh, there is the grade breakdown right there. Okay, I found it. There is the grade breakdown. Okay, I knew I put it somewhere. Let me share it again really quick. Hold on. Let me share it. I was like, I know I had put that in there. But yeah, this is the grade breakdown, right? So 40% for the exams, so 10% each, 10% for the assignments, the quizzes, and then the unit discussions 20, and then the signature assignment final project, which says mock letter to a state or local official, because that's basically what it is. What you're going to do is you are going to, this is just a mock letter, right? You're not actually going to send this, although you're free to send it if you want to, as a private citizen. Just don't put that your professor made you, because I'm not. Like, you know, you can do this if you want to, because it's you know, but this is just for academic purposes here within our class. But basically what you're going to do is you are going to pick a state or local elected official that you would like to contact, whether it be Governor Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, you know, all the way down to, you know, your state reps, your state senators, you know, even judges, you know, state judges that are serving on like the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, even down to your local levels, right? Like your county judge, your county commissioners, your mayor, your city commissioners, even your school board members. Any of those people are fair game for you to reach out to and write this mock letter about a particular state or local issue that's important to you. So I was talking about the property tax a little while ago, right? You know, some people might want to write about, you know, they might want to write to like their school board members about, you know, their, you know, some of their, you know, they might feel that maybe the school board is, you know, in terms of how the school is spending money, right? That's definitely something that's important at the local level. It probably doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's definitely something that you know, that people might want to reach out to and things like that. So it's totally up to you in terms of who you want to write to and what issue you want to write about. But just note that it has to be a state or local issue. Now, some of y'all might ask, well, sir, what about immigration? Now, technically, immigration is a federal issue. That's one of the main reasons why we're having this dispute between Texas and the federal government, because there is differing interpretations of, you know, border security and what happens if, let's say, the state of Texas disagrees with the job that the federal government is doing. Is there anything that the state of Texas can do? Because the argument is that, well, yes, they're crossing over to the United States, but then they're also crossing over into Texas, and then, you know, specifically whichever county. So that's the argument that the state of Texas is making, right? That they feel that they do have a stake in border security, because they're not just coming into the United States, but also going over into Texas, right? Now, again, there's disagreements on this, right? You know, we do have a federal lawsuit that went in because of the buoy system, and so we're going to see how that plays out. But both sides are making logical arguments about where they see this issue. So even though immigration is technically a federal issue, you can still write about that here because it is something that Texas is getting involved in. So I definitely would be fine with that. In fact, that might be a very interesting topic that some of y'all might be interested in writing about. And again, we'll go over this a little bit later in the semester. I do have a video that goes over this a lot more in detail. I think it's already uploaded. I'll double check to make sure if it's there. I did record a YouTube video probably, I think, about a year ago, where I went over the rubric. I went over the actual, because in the I'll show it to you all when we go over eCampus right now. There's a section where you're going to turn it in, but also there's the written description of it. There's also the rubric for it, and then of course there's the video that I created that goes over all that in detail. So I definitely recommend for you all to watch that video, and that'll help you all, like, you know, to get started on this assignment. Excuse me. So because, you know, we're only in this class for 8 weeks, I would definitely recommend for you all to already think about what topic you want to write about and who you want to write to. Okay, so really quickly, weekly online assignments, like we talked about here, just, you know, make sure that you're keeping up with your work. You know, make sure that you're reading the assignments. There's also, you know, the internet requirements to access eCampus. There's also Netiquette here. Oh, let me also mention that assignments are usually going to be due on Sunday night of whatever week we're at. But I didn't have, like as you all can see, that I have it for Sunday night for the introductory discussion and the syllabus acknowledgement. The week after, though, I don't have it due on Sunday night because the Monday after is Labor Day. So I didn't want for you all to have to be working on stuff the Sunday before Labor Day. Unfortunately, my own professor assigned stuff on Sunday before Labor Day, and I'm like, I miss, really? Like, you know, I went and I gave my students a break for Labor Day. You know, can't you give us one? But everyone's different. But the reason why I put it on Tuesday is because it's Labor Day weekend, so I wanted to give you all, for us to commemorate that holiday, especially because of the fact that Labor Day is really important. And I don't think it gets enough credit for like why, how important it is. I also teach history, so I know, I teach about like the Union busting that was going on. back in the 1870s during the Gilded Age. So I definitely do understand the importance of Labor Day, but anyway, it is what it is. So again, so definitely go over some of the netiquette requirements here. Just again, netiquette is basically how it says here. Netiquette is a set of rules for behaving properly online, right? So especially when it comes to the discussions, I want to ensure that because this is an academic setting, that we discuss these topics respectfully. We don't disrespect where other people are coming from, even if we disagree with them. In fact, disagreement is actually a good thing. I don't want for everyone to just be agreeing in the comment section within the discussions, because then it's harder for us to learn new ideas and new perspectives, right? We should always be interested in hearing different ideas and different perspectives, right? So I definitely welcome disagreement. I want for there to be disagreement on these topics, but we have to disagree respectfully, right? Don't get upset just because someone disagrees with you, right? This is not Twitter. This is not Facebook. This is not social media, right? We're going to be discussing these, and we are going to be discussing, some pretty, serious and intense topics, right? I mean, politics is very personal, right? A lot of people get, that's why they always say, right, don't talk about like religion or politics, right, with people, because politics is something that's it's very personal for people. A lot of people look at politics as a reflection of their own ethics and morals and their standing in the world. So we need to be respectful of that, right? This is very personal for people, and this is very important for people, right? So the last thing we need to do is to be disrespecting other people's political viewpoints, right? Now, because this is an academic setting, what I expect of you all, and I expect this in all my classes, is I expect for you all to be able to not just be respectful for how we discuss these topics, but also to back it up with facts, right? So if we're going to talk, with these discussions that we're going to have, it's not enough just to say whether you agree or disagree, right? You have to explain why you agree, why you disagree. And I'm not saying that you have to like cite your sources specifically, right? But you need to be able to use examples from the readings, use examples from news that you've seen, use examples from your own personal life as well. I know that in one of the later units, we're going to talk about local government, and a lot of students, they like to share about some of the problems and issues that they've experienced in their own cities, their own counties, their own communities, their own neighborhoods. And that's good information to share, because that is a great way for us to see what those issues are at the local level that you all are experiencing, right? I could definitely talk about some things in my local community that I've got concerns and issues about. So you all are more than welcome to do the same, and that will count because you all are using real life world experiences that you all have seen, and you're bringing it to the classroom. And that's definitely what I encourage for you. But again, so you all can go through this again, just keep an open mind, right? Be respectful, don't write in all caps because that's screaming and things like that. But yeah, you all can definitely go over this for yourself. Do keep in mind that the final exam is you're gonna need to use honor lock. So that's a Blinn college requirement. So make sure that I'm gonna double check to make sure that it is working properly, because I know I had a student that was reaching out to me about it. So I'll double check on that, but it should be good. Okay, so other course policies again. It talks about problem resolution, things like that. Okay, let's see. So let me just kind of scroll through over here. I think it's just talking about like student expectations, things like that. Okay, so this is the schedule right here. So like we said, we're going to be covering these two chapters here. So this is also why I have everything open for you all. If you all have already gone through the class, you'll see that all the units are open, all the chapters are open, because since it's an 8-week course, we definitely have to try to go as quickly as possible. So if you want to get ahead, you're more than welcome to do so. I think some students have already been doing that. But yes, you're more than welcome to get ahead. Do keep in mind that next week we're already going to be, I wish that we could have just done intro this week, because it's not even a full week, but we just don't have time. We have too many chapters and we have to keep going. So do keep in mind that next on September 5th, do keep in mind that we're going to have the whole first unit is going to be due, right? So you're going to have to do chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4 by September 5th. So that's going to be a little bit of a lot, right? But it's because we lost those couple of days, right? Because it's a week and a half, so it is kind of a lot. So but that's why I didn't want to have anything due this week, because again, like I said, we've only been in class for a couple of days. So you're going to have to double up, or I guess I could say quadruple up, right? For 4 chapters in, that are going to be due next time. But then that should be the only time that it'll be like that, right? So then then the next week, I forget, you know, whatever, I guess September, and then it goes back to Sunday, right? So let me see, let me check the calendar really quickly. So then the next due date after the 5th, for when I'm sorry, where chapters 5 and 6 would be due. Let me just check this really quickly. That would be September 10th, right? So September 10th is going to be when chapters 5 and 6 are going to be due, right? And all those due dates are already there, so you can definitely keep track of that. But just note that, you know, this is going to go a little bit faster than usual, right? Because it's an 8-week course. Okay, so let's see. So that's pretty much all. Okay, that's pretty much what I need to cover for the syllabus. So let me stop the share really quickly. What I wanted to do now is I wanted to go over really quickly the eCampus layout so I can show you all where everything is. So let me just backtrack over here, and I'm going to show you all where everything is located here. I'm also going to click on one of these individual modules so that way you all can see what the layout is, what it looks like, and probably most importantly, what is due here. Okay, so let me go ahead and share really quickly. Now, do keep in mind that there are going to be a few folders that you're not going to have access to. You're seeing them here on my screen because obviously, of course, I'm showing you my campus, so there's some things that are hidden that you're not going to be able to see. But that's fine. Don't worry about those. So when we look at the so this, of course, if you click on here, this takes you to the discussion board, right? Which I know you all have already been clicking on here to locate the syllabus acknowledgement and the introductory discussion, as well as all the unit discussions, and it also has the due dates there. So that's where you find it. Then the sections, this is where the weekly assignments are, in the sections, right? So if you click on here, it gives you a description of the section in terms of what we're going to be covering. And then from here, you can click on these individual chapter modules, right? Now, and of course, it also gives you the due dates. Now, like I was saying, what I've done is I've done a good job of giving you all, putting, the introduction, the essential knowledge, what I want for you all to gain from this, as well as what to go through, right? So the chapter activities, of course, is obviously, of course, read the chapter, read through the PowerPoints and chapter outlines. I've also got some YouTube videos that I've recorded, as well as some other professors, such as Dr. Thomas Patterson from Harvard. There's also Dr. Sharon Navarro, one of my former professors from UTSA. So I've got some videos there. I know that she was redoing her YouTube channel, so some of them might not work. I need to go back and double check on that. But regardless, if it doesn't work, so be it. But I'll be doing and checking that, as well as some that I've recorded. Now again, I do need to clean this up a little bit because this is not the order that I wanted to put these in. But these are the brand new publisher resources, because again, I use a lot of the publisher resources from W.W. Norton that publishes Governing Texas. So they come with, and I provide this to you all, right? I provide you all the PowerPoints, a lot of these simulations and animations. Now, some of these do have questions at the end, but you don't have to worry about those unless the only ones that you have to worry about are the inquisitive and the ones here at the bottom. These are the only ones that you're going to have to worry for a grade. And I'll go over this again next week, because I know some of y'all might have some questions on this. But if it has a due date, then that is what is going to count, in terms of a grade here, right? So this is the typical layout. So again, you've got the chapter resources up here, the PowerPoints, outlines, and other simulations that you all can click on. The lecture videos. There's also crash course videos. I like to use those as well. And again, you don't have to watch everything. Okay, that's another thing that I want to mention. You don't have to watch all the videos. You don't have to click on every link. I want for you to understand that, right? Because I know one semester I had students complaining that I put too much. All of this is for you all, right? It's up to you all in terms of what you want to use, but I want to give you all as many resources as possible, and then you can go from there, right? So the only thing that you do have to do, of course, like I said, is the quizzes and assignments per module, as well as the so I put the introductory discussion and syllabus acknowledgement here as well. But this is what a typical week is going to look like, right? So you've got your resources, you've got your YouTube videos, and then you have your assignments here. Let's see. Let me stop the share screen because I think okay, then no, okay, so let me see. Okay, let me go ahead and keep sharing again here. Sorry about that. I wanted to make sure if anyone was here. Okay, anyway, so with that being said, that's what a typical week looks like. So also do keep in mind, like I said, that for every section, we're going to have a unit discussion. I mean, section, unit, different names for it, you know, but same thing. I've also got some additional resources as well. These, of course, are also optional, right? These are extra resources that I have within our class. Let's see. I know I thought I clicked on it. Yeah. So these are extra resources that I have in our class, right? So again, you don't have to click on all of these. These are optional. These are extra YouTube videos, extra articles. I'm going to have the Texas Politics Project, which we're going to be using as well. I'm going to be linking some more of that stuff here. So these are optional. I also need to go and add some more because we just had the we had the state legislature wrap up. You know, they were meeting, you know, last year and then into the summer. So I'll be adding more stuff in there as well as the semester rolls along. But yeah, so we have those additional ones. This is where so we've got study guides here. Study guides, again, also optional. I guess I can, you know, these are for extra credit. So the way the study guides work, everyone, is that I have study guides for the exams. The exams are not going to be exactly based on the study guides because every exam that I have here, it pulls from a pool of questions, you know, to eliminate cheating, so that way you don't have, you know, not everyone is going to be taking the same exam because your exam is going to look different from your classmates because it generates a pool of questions. But just keep that in mind, right? But the study guides should help you out because these are the key concepts I want y'all to focus on when studying for the test. Tests are also open note. Okay, that's another thing I also want to tell you about. The tests are open note, open book. You can use whatever resources y'all want to, but just make sure that you all aren't taking the test, you know, together, right? So that's not allowed. But you know, so you do have to take the test on your own. But you can use the study guides, the book, the outlines. I would definitely recommend printing out the outlines and or maybe having them on another device here while you're taking your test here. So. But again, everything, you know, the exams are open note. So do keep that in mind. The exams are open note. Again, this is also a listing for the YouTube recordings here. So you can also access my YouTube channel as well as some of the other professors that I incorporate here. This is the signature assignment one here. Again, like I was saying a little bit earlier, this gives a description of it. This is where the rubric is, the actual description. Yes, there is a YouTube video that I've created. There is going to be a rough draft that I want you all to complete. This will be due in the middle of September. Basically, I'm just looking for like a half-page summary of what you're going to actually expand on in the final submission. As it says here, right? The name of the state or local elected official that you will be writing your mock letter to, the state or local issue, policy, or concern regarding the political culture in the state of Texas you'll be writing about, and the constitutional solution to the state or local issue, right? Because that's the other thing I forgot to mention is that in your signature assignment letter, it's going to be these three things, right? You're gonna pick who you're going to write to. You're going to write about an issue, and you're going to write about a solution to that issue, right? And of course, this assignment, I like to call it a research essay. It's not a research paper, so to speak, but it is a research essay. And what I mean by this is you are going to have to do some outside research. You are going to have to, you know, I would definitely recommend looking up some articles. Maybe like two, probably that'd probably be enough. I mean, you can use more, but at least two would probably be my recommendation. You know, to try to get as good a grade as possible, and you know, to do some outside research on whatever issue that you are writing about. But again, we'll talk about a little bit more about this. And I think that's it in terms of what I wanted to discuss for today. So let me go ahead and stop the share here. So anyway, everyone. So like I said, definitely take a look at this video. I'm going to be uploading it. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you all so much for signing up for our class. I know that it's going to be a little bit stressful because of the 8-week schedule that we're operating on. So again, I'm very sorry about that. I'll try to do my best to respond to y'all's emails as quickly as possible, even more so because it's an 8-week class and, you know, a week, you know, going by with a problem is like 2 weeks in a regular semester. So I definitely will do my best to respond to y'all's issues, questions, responses, and things like that. But again, please reach out to me if anything comes up. I'm definitely an email away. I definitely want for you all to succeed in this class. You all are college students. Some of you all are high school students while taking college classes, and that says a lot about you all. You all, I mean, you know, high school students now, because I also teach these dual credit classes as well. And the high school students, they've got so much on their plate right now. They're taking college classes. They're doing extracurriculars. Football season has just started. So there's so much going on in the fall semester. So I definitely understand. I definitely want to be helpful for you all as much as I can. So please reach out to me if anything comes up. If you have a school event that, maybe you're going to need, maybe you might need some extra time to complete something, please reach out to me. I definitely want for y'all to complete everything by the due date. But if something comes up, please talk to me. I know what it's like to still be a student. I am still a student, so I know that things, still come up even in my life. Um, I've got my 85-year-old grandmother. She's having health issues, as anyone at that age would. So it's something that I also am, working through and dealing with. So I definitely understand how that is. So just please reach out to me if any of y'all have any questions, concerns, and I'll definitely be there to help you as best as I can. So with that being said, I guess we're going to an end for today. Y'all be safe, take care, and welcome to our class. I'm really looking forward to working with you all, helping you all as you progress through this class and trying to just help you all understand better how Texas government works. I'll definitely share some of my experiences. I'm a former precinct chair. I've been also a former state and national delegate. If you know about elections, you know about the delegate system. So, share some of my experiences. I volunteered on a variety of different campaigns at the federal, state, and local level. I have volunteered for congressional campaigns, whether Senate or House campaigns, also some state Senate campaigns. So, as well as also some local races as well, like for county party chairperson. So I've assisted with a lot of those things. So I definitely want to bring that knowledge and experience to the table within our class. So I definitely, we'll see. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So you all take care, be safe, and we will see you all later. And have a good rest of your day and have a good weekend. And you all take care of them. Thank you so much. Thank you. Goodbye.